Welcome, my name is Jesse and you are listening to The Wake Up Call. This show is about opening your eyes to how you've been living, bringing awareness to the standard you've been operating at, and helping you start living to your full potential. There are two ways I'll help you do this. One, by disciplining your mind, and two, by strengthening your body. It's time to take stock of your current performance and go to the next level. Let's do this. Guys, welcome back to another episode of The Wake Up Call. Today's episode is going to be short, sweet, and it's going to hit you with a dose of truth, unlike anything hopefully you've heard for a while. And this episode here is inspired by a book which has been recommended to me by numerous people and mentors over the years. And I want you to start to take inventory of how you're actually living and operating on a day-to-day basis. So for this episode, I want you to critically assess if you are currently acting like an amateur or a pro. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because the biggest reason that a lot of people struggle to change their body, improve their life, build strength, and improve the way that their life is, the direction that their life is heading, is simply because they aren't taking things seriously. And this is what you must understand. This is not negotiable. You must understand that if you want serious results, you have to take things seriously and act in a serious manner. And that's why sometimes people confuse my energy and my enthusiasm and the way that I actually operate as, maybe a little bit over the top. But the reason for that, it comes off like that, it's because I care. With my strength training business, I do things professionally because I give a shit. I'm hard on my clients that I work with because I care about the results that they get. And I understand if they do things more meticulously with a greater attention to detail, they will improve their results. They will get better results and they will get them quicker. So what you need to understand is this. You cannot get 10 out of 10 results with 3 out of 10 effort or 6 out of 10 consistency. It's physically impossible. Yet every single day you go through the motions expecting to have the body of your dreams, the life you've always desired, by happenstance, just by chance, just because you believe you're a good person and you deserve it. Well, no, I'm here to tell you you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve anything in life. You get what you earn. So what I want you to do is, from this moment in time, I want you to stop blaming your lack of results on external circumstances and situations. You are the person who controls the results you do or do not get. So you have to decide. You have to draw a line in the sand and figure out, are you going to continue playing the victim or are you going to become the victor? So with your fitness journey, with your body weight, with your body composition, how you actually look and how you see yourself in the mirror, it doesn't come down to anything else except for the actions that you take over a period of time. There's no magic fairy who's going to tap you on the shoulder and just be like, hey, have these results. Here, drop that 30 kilos with the snap of the fingers. It doesn't fucking happen. It's a fantasy. And this is the difference between an amateur and a professional. The amateur flies by the seat of their pants and reacts to life and what happens after the fact. They react after shit happens, after shit hits the fan. And they blame everything else and everyone else for the reason they haven't got the results they want or why they aren't successful. Oh, that diet wasn't for me. Oh, cardio's just not right for me. Or, I tried this program and it wasn't the right fit for me. Or, the program is too hard. Or I just didn't like that food. The common denominator is always you. The amateur makes excuses and complains about everything else happening in their life. It's everybody else's fault. Everybody else's fault except for their own. That is what the amateur does. The professional, however, takes the reins and runs their life. They plan for anything and everything. They have contingencies for if things go wrong or off the plan. And they take extreme ownership of everything that happens in their life. And I do mean everything. They own up to all of their actions, decisions, and choices because they understand that whatever they do on a consistent basis will result in a certain outcome. And they are prepared to do what is required to hit their goal, regardless of the circumstance or situation. They have what is called a no options mentality. So once the professional sets their sights on a specific goal, they do not stop, they do not deviate off achieving that goal. Now, this doesn't mean that they follow the exact same plan, because if the plan isn't working, what they do is they don't, put their hands up in the air and mope and whine and say, oh, the plan doesn't work. What they do is they adjust the plan and they keep moving forward. That is a no options mentality. They follow their true north, whatever is required to keep moving forward. So if plan A doesn't work, that's fine. They understand they've taken plan A as far as it can possibly go, and then they shift, they pivot, and they adjust, and they maybe, turn 2 degrees to the right, and they work a bit of plan B, and they keep moving forward. The amateur doesn't do that. If plan A doesn't work, they say, oh, the plan it doesn't work. I can't do it. It's all over. And then they bury their head in the sand, or they turn the switch off and they think it's just not for me, or it's not the right time, or they blame external circumstances again. The professional understands that whatever happens, the good or the bad, they will adapt, you will adapt and overcome and work on anything and everything which is in your control, which is in your direct control. No excuses. I want to give you an example of how I have implemented this in my life. Now, it's not to say I'm the be-all, end-all, but it is something that I learned from a very young age, and I still remember this story. This has been burned into my brain, and it carries over to many other aspects of my life, and I take the absolute utmost pride in it. When I was younger, I lived in a rural town. I was living in Bunbury, which is about 2 hours south of Perth, and my mum would drive me up to football. I played for a team in Mandurah back then. It took about an hour to get there, so she would travel up twice a week for training, and then on the weekends for games as well. So this is from the age of 12. My mum would take out hours of her week so I could be afforded the opportunity to go and play at a higher level. So she made that abundantly clear to me. I could have played for a local team, but I chose to try and play at a higher level, and she was willing to drive me there. So I'm very grateful for that. But anyway, we would travel up, I think it was Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then Sundays for a game. Tuesdays and Thursdays, she made sure, you got to pack your bag. Soon as school's finished, we're in the car and we're on the freeway. This is the old freeway, and it takes an hour to get there. And then I remember we arrived at the football ground, at the training ground, and I opened my bag and I had forgotten my shin pads. And Mum said, you better check your bag again, just make sure. So anyway, I check again, I empty my whole bag out. I could not for the life of me find my shin pads. My pair of shin pads, they weren't there. Anyway, Mum flew off the handle. She lost her shit, and she let me know in no uncertain terms, that's fucking not good enough. That's unacceptable. You're driving an hour here. She's taking time out of her business and her day to drive me so I could go and play at a higher level, and you can't even bring your fucking shin pads. Anyway, we managed to go to a sports store and I could buy a set, but she let me know after training, if you ever forget your shin pads again, I'm not fucking driving you an hour. And that made perfect sense to me. My commitment was, pack your bag. Make sure you have every single thing you need. Make sure you got boots, shin pads, socks, shorts, shirt, skins. And it's burnt, that series of what I just said, boots, shin pads, socks, shorts, shirt, skins, is burned into my brain. So once, when I was 12 years old, I forgot my shin pads. And after that lesson, I have not forgotten a single item for my football. Ever. So that's 17 years. I have not forgotten a single item. Everything is checked, double checked, triple checked, to the point I now have OCD when it comes to making sure I have what I need before I leave the house. Is it overkill? Maybe. Probably. Does it drive my wife insane? Sure. But even she knows the sequence. Even she knows what I need to make sure I have everything so that I can perform at the best level possible. And the reason I share this is I do this on purpose now, actively before I leave the house. To go anywhere important, I check, double check, triple check to make sure I have everything I need. And I do this because I care, and it's because that is important to me. So think about that. How many trainings and games I have been to since 12 years old. I'm now 29, and I haven't forgotten a single item of clothing. I haven't forgotten my boots, haven't forgotten the shin pads, haven't forgotten socks, haven't forgotten a drink bottle. I've had every single item with me for every single training for 17 years. That's how serious I take my training, because it means that much to me. That is the attitude and the mindset of a professional. Now, I don't play at a professional level. I play semi-professional. My goal when I was younger was to play pro. So that's the attitude I adopted. And this is what you have to understand for your situation. Whether you train once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, doesn't matter. You can apply this principle and this lifestyle and this mindset to your life. The more that you care about something and the more that you pay attention to it, the more accurate your actions will become. And the more specific and the more accurate your actions are, the better your results and outcomes will become. It's not happenstance. It's not luck. It's not by, a fucking lottery. You create this. It is you who determines, what type of results you get. That is the attitude of a professional. Now, I want to share something with you from the book, Turning Pro by Steven Pressfield. If you haven't heard of it, I would highly encourage you to Google it and go and buy yourself a copy. This is a fucking awesome book. And I'm going to read something to you so you can understand what level you're currently playing at if you're an amateur. And I'm going to actually talk to you about the qualities of the professional now. The professional shows up every day. The professional stays on the job all day. The professional is committed over the long haul. For the professional, the stakes are high and real. Further, the professional is patient. The professional seeks order. The professional demystifies. The professional acts in the face of fear. The professional accepts no excuses. The professional plays it as it lays. The professional is prepared. The professional does not show off. The professional dedicates himself to mastering technique. The professional does not hesitate to ask for help. The professional does not take failure or success personally. The professional does not identify with his or her instrument. The professional endures adversity. The professional self-validates. The professional reinvents herself. The professional is recognized by other professionals. So hopefully you can see the standard and the operating procedure of a professional. And like I said, I have learnt that from a young age, and I have transferred that character trait to everything in my life. How I run my business, how I coach clients, how I live on a personal level. So if you think of it with a tunnel vision or single-minded, I just don't care about training that much. Or, my body's kind of important. That's fine. But this character trait will transfer to everything in your life. How you operate with your business, at work, how you show up with your family and friends, and how you do everything that you consider to be of highest priority. And it starts by becoming, and as Steven Pressfield says, turning pro. So, I don't want you to wish for the results any longer. Don't wish for the results you want. Work for them. Take them seriously and act seriously. Because when you do that, good things start to happen. The wheel starts to turn, and then things suddenly start to click. And you build momentum. And you start understanding that, holy shit, the ball is actually in my court. I actually have all of the decision-making processes and power in my own hands. That's exactly what happens when you turn pro. So the last thing I want you to remember, there's two things. One, go the extra mile, do the extra rep, make the extra phone call, make that hard decision. If you go the extra mile, you'll get better results. Do you know why? Because there's no one on it. And the last thing is this. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit extra. That's all it takes. It's that little bit extra. And the professional understands that not everybody's willing to go that extra 5 or 10%. But they also understand that that is what is going to take them to the next level, and is what is going to separate them from the masses, from the crowd. That is how you become an outlier, the best. So I'm going to leave you there, guys. Become a pro and start behaving like a professional. Otherwise, your life and the results you get will always be that of an amateur. And I know you don't want that. Go and become a professional. If you loved the Wake Up Call, found it entertaining, or got some benefit out of listening, I would appreciate you helping me to spread the word. Please share it with a friend or on social media so that you can pay it forward and give someone else the opportunity to improve themselves like you just have. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon for another episode.